What's up guys, TechLab here. Now in today's video we're going to be catching up with a graphics card that is the refresh of refreshes. This is the AMD Radeon RX 590. It's a little bit old now and you will still pay a pretty penny for them for some reason. And of course we wanted to see what kind of experience it provides and if you can still actually game on one. Okay, so on our journey of catching up with old graphics cards, there was always this one that was on my list to pick up. It is the AMD Radeon RX 590. It was a graphics card released by AMD all the way back in 2018, which was more or less a refresh of the RX 580. It was something that AMD seemed to drop to kind of fill a gap more than anything, something just before their RX 5000 series came out. And to be honest, these were extremely popular. You don't seem to see many of them today, and if you do, they are quite expensive. I actually paid probably way too much for this card, but it's still a lot of fun to play with. The exact model that we got here today is from XFX, and it is kind of branded as the Fat Boy. That means that it does actually use up to 2.5 worth of slots on the back, so you need to make sure you consider that when you purchase one, just in case you have a very tiny case and something like this won't fit, but generally it should fit in most cases. It's actually a pretty cool model and it's got some great big fans on it. The PCB on the inside is pretty much the same size as the card, and these great big fans on the front here actually do tend to keep it quite cool, although this one actually does run a little bit warm. It's something that you would need to consider if you were to purchase one. You would definitely want to repaste one of these and give it a good cleaning. It also came with a back plate, which was pretty cool for the time that it was actually released, particularly for this kind of money. So it would look actually really nice in your system. Would it have made a decent upgrade if you were already on an RX 580? Probably not. I'm sure we'll test that at some point in the future. And it also requires an 8-pin and a 6-pin connection as well. Like I say, this model of graphics card is actually pretty decent. I find that it seems to run extremely well, and it seems extremely common too, because when I was searching for this graphics card on eBay, you're pretty much seeing 90% of them of these types of models, and you're going to roughly pay around 80 to 90 pounds for it. Is that absolutely worth it? Probably not, even with the performance that this thing gives today, because you can get a much newer and better card even on the entry level for around that kind of pricing, particularly when you start looking at the NVIDIA RTX cards. But still, this graphics card was the fastest graphics card that AMD ever created on probably what was their greatest generation ever created, the 500 series. So it was definitely worth me picking up just to kind of give it a go and see what it's got. And when it comes to gaming, this thing actually still has some grunt in it. Now, as you can see from those benchmarks, the RX 590 can still actually get the job done with a little bit of tweaking here and a little bit of adjustment there. You can actually get a pretty decent 1080p 60 FPS experience on pretty much most games. The problem is, though, when it comes to the new titles, unfortunately, a lot of the new titles, you're going to be presented with many different errors, and that's mostly because the card is just so old now. There isn't any kind of hardware ray tracing support, so that's going to discount a few games, and you've also got other issues around things like the types of shaders and stuff like that. It's also worth noting that AMD, just like the other 500 series cards, did stop the driver support too, so you're going to get a lot of driver out of date kind of issues, but some games will actually let you bypass that. That's not true of all new titles though, particularly when it comes to newish releases in probably the last 6 months or so. Games like Mind's Eye will actually run perfectly fine on this card, although performance is a little bit of a question here. You do need to lower the settings on this game by quite a bit just to get it playable, but running the game in 1080p with a low preset while enabling FSR 3 with a balanced setting, you will get an average of around 45 frames per second with a 1% low of 35. Now, that's actually not a bad performance overall, particularly when that game is so demanding. So that made me question, can you actually play other games on this? Things that don't have any kind of weird hardware kind of requirements. And for that, we're going to be testing Dying Light the Beast. Now, this is the latest game that is in my library, and it is something that I am personally playing through myself. So it's going to be super interesting to see, can it actually play it? Just while the game is loading up, it is worth noting that the system that we're currently testing this in is in our benching rig. That's what all the testing that you've seen today's video would have been actually run by. That does use a Ryzen 7 9800X3D as well as 64 gigabytes of DDR5 RAM. Now, that's not something that you will definitely need with this graphics card. For us, it's just going to allow us to show the full potential of it, but you can get away with a much lower end system and still kind of get the same performance. And that's because the card is actually considered a really weak card nowadays. But seeing it play all of these games is still actually something that is pretty cool to see. So we do have our stats running up in the corner at the moment and everything is looking fine. I will admit that the card will start to run a little bit warm as the game progresses, and that is because these cards just generally tend to run very warm. We'll skip through a few parts here and we're going to actually go down to play. The game has started perfectly fine. There are absolutely no issues with getting the menu loaded and things like that, but what we're going to do is we're going to click on continue the campaign and we're going to see what the performance is like. I don't know what this is actually configured to at the moment. It's probably a preset of some description, but I'm sure we'll actually see what it can do once it gets into game. I'm not holding my breath with this one because this game is extremely demanding and it looks absolutely fantastic. Now, so far the game isn't actually looking too bad. We are stood in a safe zone at the moment. Things are starting to load up as we spin round. There's a slight delay in the textures loading and things like that, but so far it's not as stuttery as I thought it was going to be. We're currently getting 47 frames per second, but we will reset our stats and we'll have another look around. We'll see what our averages come out to. So it's around an average of 48 frames per second with a 1% low of 46. There is also worth noting that this game is extremely well optimized. It's something that I noticed myself when playing it. So hopefully that will allow this card to get us a playable performance. But before we dive out of here, we're going to go over to the options and see what we do have configured. Let's go to our video settings. So we are running in 1080p. This graphics card is definitely a 1080p graphics card. It was when it was created and it still is today. So it's actually nice to see that it is playing this well, particularly at its kind of targeted resolution. If we go down here, we do have vertical sync on. We're going to turn that off for now just to see what the maximum performance is that we can get. We're going to turn everything else off. We've got no frame generation enabled. We do have an upscaling at the moment of balanced and it is on FSR. So we'll turn that off for now. We're going to go to native. So let's just go to a native upscaling mode. And then when it comes to the quality settings, it is currently set in a low. I'm going to leave it at a low setting because, like I say, this graphics card is considered quite weak now, so I don't think we're going to get any more out of it. Let's save our settings and then we'll get back into game. We'll do a little bit of a run around. So with a low setting, no FSR at the moment, we have had a dip in our performance here to around 32 frames per second. Some people can play at 30 FPS, so that's a good sign for them. At the moment, we're not looking at a very demanding scene, so let's go down this ladder. Let's see if we can find some kind of zombies. We're gonna die as we hit the floor now, but anyway. I actually really enjoy this game. I think they've really captured the original a lot better than number 2 did, so I think a lot of people like to forget that number 2 existed, but so far, everything is actually running okay. We've currently got an average of 30 frames per second with a 1% low of 25. Not looking too bad. We'll just have a bit of a run around here. We've got some zombies here. We don't want to get into too much of a fight, but let's jump onto this vehicle. See if we can start to smoothen things out. We do have a few dips here on our frame time graph, which we didn't feel in the actual gameplay itself, but they are there. And we've currently got a frame time of around 36 milliseconds. Not the best. It will mean that you will notice, not stuttering, but you will get some micro stutters as you go, and things may feel a little bit delayed when you do it. So let's head back over to the settings to see if we can really fine tune this game and get it quite playable. The first thing that we're going to do is we are going to leave it on a low setting. We're not going to increase the settings at all, but we are going to take advantage of some of AMD's tooling, which will work on this graphics card fine. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to the dynamic resolution scaling. We're not going to adjust that. We're not going to adjust our FPS limit at the moment. We're going to actually re-enable the upscaling methodology. I think that is what is best for these types of graphics cards. We're going to go for an FSR because it's AMD and it's quite good. And we will actually take it back to a balanced setting. That was working quite well before. And it is using FSR upscaling version 3.1.5. Now, we do have access here to frame generation. I don't know exactly what that's going to do if we were to enable it. I'm not quite sure whether it's going to plummet our performance. I'm sure we'll test that in a minute. And we will turn our vertical sync back on. Now that will actually should synchronize it back to the capture device that we've got, which is a 60 Hertz one. So 60 FPS is our target. That should be perfectly fine. So let's get back into game. We reset our stats there and we have instantly seen that our frame time has dropped down to around 23 milliseconds. Not brilliant, but it's much more playable. And our current performance is around 43 frames per second. The graphics card, of course, is maxing out at 100% and the CPU is really bored. It's not actually doing anything. We're currently using as well around 6.1 gigabytes of VRAM, which means the 8 gigabytes in there is actually really helping us along at the moment. But yeah, let's have a jump around and take a look. Being on this quite big monitor at the moment, you can definitely tell that the upscaling is on. Things are slightly blurrier compared to what they were when it was in native, but it is still more than playable. I'm actually quite impressed with what this card can actually do in a game just like this. As we run around here, we'll find some bad guys. I'm sure we'll get some more things chasing us, but we are currently running at an average of 43 frames per second with a 1% low of 40. Again, not too bad. That does mean that the optimization of this game is working because we haven't got any major dips or anything like that. We're still getting the odd little flick on our frame time graph, but again, we're not feeling it in the controls or the character, so it's not looking bad overall. I do wonder what happens though if we do turn on that frame generation. Hopefully it is AMD's implementation. It doesn't exactly say. It says that it will use AI to be able to do stuff, but I'm sure it probably completely kill our performance overall. So let's just find a little bit of a safe place to stop, and then we'll go back over to the settings. We'll go to options, and we're going to go to video, over to our scroll down, frame generation. We'll turn that on. Oh, so, okay, so we do have actually an option here in this game. We can either turn it on or off, and if we turn it on, it goes to FSR frame generation, which is actually good to see because it does mean that the menu system is kind of identifying the graphics card that we've got. So let's save that setting and see what happens. Sometimes your frame times will actually go completely to rubbish and it will make the game completely stuttery, but let's see if that actually made any difference at all. So we've seen a massive boost now in our performance. We're now getting around an average of 75 frames per second with a 1% low of 69. That is way over the 60 FPS limit that we wanted. I don't know why this is actually allowing us to go to 70 though. Let's go back to the options and see if our vertical sync is still enabled, because it may have disabled itself. So vertical sync has disabled itself. We're going to turn it back on again. We're going to save those settings. Now, hopefully turning vertical sync on and actually limiting the game down to 60 FPS shouldn't push the graphics card too much, particularly now that we are way over that with a bit of frame generation. Let's reset our stats again. So we are now locked at 60 frames per second with a 1% low of 55 frames per second. The game is much smoother once we've done that, and we've got no screen tearing at all. Actually, the game feels very playable. There's not a lot of latency issues. If you move the mouse, it's moving when you do it. This game's a little bit slow paced, so you don't tend to notice it so much, but at the moment we've got absolutely no issues at all. The game looks perfectly fine as well with frame generation on it. There are no graphical issues. There's no kind of textures loading really badly, and we're currently in the rain, which is a little bit more demanding than when it's not raining. I will be honest with that. We'll jump onto this roof here, and yeah, so far everything is looking really good. We've even had a huge drop in our frame time here to around 16 milliseconds. Under 20 is where you will get the smoothest gameplay, so we're definitely under that. So yeah, the RX 590 playing brand new title, something that was released only a few months ago, and it's playing it perfectly fine. All you need to do is tweak a few settings, turn a few things on. I think AMD in their or maybe accidentally, by releasing things like frame generation and FSR, have actually breathed new life into graphics cards like this. It means that you can definitely still get away with playing new titles if they've included all of those settings, and especially the well-optimized ones like this. But what we'll do is we're going to go up here first, see if can I kill this guy. I've got a weapon, so I can kill him. There we go. As we're killing stuff like that, again, we're still not getting any kind of performance issues. We're still locked at 60 frames per second with a 1% low of 54 frames per second. The graphics card, like I say, is still running at 100%, and we have had a slight increase in the VRAM that we're using. We're now using around 6.5. That will be that frame generation taken over, and of course the CPU is doing a bit more work now because it's using around 30%. But either way, if you've got the power in your CPU and your VRAM, why not use it? I'm actually super impressed with what this graphics card can still do. I can actually hear it. The system is under the desk at the moment and it's quite loud. That graphics card's really spinning up the fans here, and it's running at around 71 degrees. Not the greatest temperature, but it's also not the worst too. During our other testing, we did manage to have this graphics card up to around 80 degrees, and that was a little bit concerning, but it does kind of lock there. The fan system does do a great job. But there we go. Dying Light, the beast, on a 7-year-old 90 class card from AMD, something that would have been considered mid-range, still gaming and still having a great time. So there we have it, the AMD Radeon RX 590. You can still game on one in 2026, and you can actually play some pretty decent games as well. There are, like I say, lots of games that won't even run on this graphics card, but if you're not into them, who cares anyway? If you managed to pick one of these up back in the day and only paying around $279 or £280 for one, you actually got a pretty decent bargain. I can guarantee that people are still playing games on these and they're still having a great time. I actually regretted a little bit purchasing this one for such a high price. I paid around £85 or something like that. It's between £80 and £90 for this, and I thought that was a little bit of a joke really, considering its age. But until I saw the performance, I was actually now very impressed with what it can do. Let me know in the comments below, did you have an RX 590, or what do you think of the performance today? Would you consider one, maybe for a secondary system or something like that? Even though AMD have dropped all the driver support for them a very long time ago, they're still very well supported under Linux. Maybe we should definitely try that, because performance should be even better on that one. It would be very interesting to see that. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content and you want to see more, because I'm sure we'll do a little bit more with this graphics card. And I'll catch you guys in the next one.